Seke Rural Home-Based Care facilitated community cultural dialogues. We engaged communities in an active dialogue about cultural practices and beliefs, customary and general laws to reduce HIV and AIDS vulnerability of women and children in Seke. The project sought to increase the involvement and participation of the whole community in addressing cultural practices that increase the risk of women to HIV and AIDS and their ability to access their sexual and reproductive rights. It consisted of a series of dialogues with women, men, and custodians of culture separately, followed by a combined larger meeting that brought everyone together. SAfAIDS identified Seke Rural Home-Based Care as a partner in this gender project because of our successful history in community mobilization and education and our position in a rural setting. While it is understood that the main driving force of HIV/AIDS epidemic is related to some of the cultural practices, very little has been done to create a better understanding of these cultures and to engage the African people themselves in addressing some of the practices that continue to fuel the disease. The project was meant to engage the community in a dialogue to identify and examine these negative practices and beliefs and come up with a practical solutions to the challenges. The dialogues were not meant to criticize cultural practices, but to foster a culture of cooperation, self-review, and ownership of the process that yielded new and innovative strategies and commitments to social change, and to facilitate the process by which communities arrived at their own solutions. We started off by sensitizing the leadership so that they know of the project that is coming into their area. It's either they refuse or they agree, but this time they agreed to the project coming to the area. And then we started with women dialogues and men dialogues, custodians of culture dialogue, community dialogue. All these were being done separately, women alone, men alone, and the custodian culture alone. And then we had this big dialogue of the whole community. The community follow-up and monitoring through a behavior change management committee. And then development of a simple pictorial booklet on culture and HIV and AIDS. There is the culture of silence amongst the African women, especially at mixed meetings of men and women. Traditionally, it is taboo to talk about sexual issues openly, let alone one's personal sexual problems. The first meeting confirmed this culture of silence. We started to use ballot boxes at every meeting where many women dropped letters expressing their problems and suggestions. Another challenge was when men blaming women for actions in mixed gender groups. Many men did not want to take responsibility of their contribution to HIV and AIDS, instead blaming the women and children even for their practice of having multiple sexual relations. The involvement of a community theater group was part of the solution that performed scenarios relevant to the community's concerns that depersonalized the situations and allowed for more open discussions. Moving through these challenges lead to increased participation of both women and men. The language was more open and women were more vocal in stating their issues. The men responded with more honesty and willingness to change. There was a shared responsibility towards finding solutions, which led to the formation of the behavior change committees in each village. The committees are responsible for ensuring that the commitments made through this project are being implemented. A booklet was developed with the community issues, which the community uses in discussion groups to facilitate and create more understanding of the linkages between culture and HIV/AIDS, gender, and women's rights. Several informants cautioned that cultural change was a slow process and that whilst progress was being made, it was not universal. However, there were stories of positive change. One said, "We do not want to hate anyone. We know we can cure HIV. We cannot cheat about this, as it is obvious. Now, instead of suggesting an afflicted man sleep with a virgin, we tell him he must go to the clinic to get ARVs. It's one of the traditional healers in Seke. There is enhanced communication now around sexuality. Women are now being given greater freedom to participate in discussions about sex in the home with their husbands and in the communities, even in front of headmen. The change agents community, these are community advisors, many of them whom are women, reported that the headmen often gave them a platform at community meetings to talk about the dangers of certain cultural practices. Before, I did not want to say yes, but I had to because I did not have knowledge. Now I know I have rights. I know what is safe, and I can say no if I want to.